Hello! This is going to be the first of hopefully many video blogs. I don't know quite why I decided to do this, but I appear to be doing it nonetheless. I had quite a lot of fun doing a couple of video blogs at the beginning of my trip to Canada, and then, well, Canada and the US. And then it became rather apparent that actually filming out in public using a laptop is a bit limiting. So when I had a bit more spare cash, I bought a video camera, and it arrived today, and it's dead good. It's tiny. It's like about the size of a fag packet, but it does perfectly good standard definition video and stereo sound, as you may be able to experience if you're wearing headphones. And it's Blu-tack to the top of my computer because I've lost my mini tripod. But here it is. My thinking has mostly been revolving around the idea that I'm going away to South Africa in a couple of weeks, and it might be quite fun to document the trip with a bit of this, talking into the camera, today we went here, that sort of thing, and in amongst it have some clips of where we went and what we saw and who we spoke to and things like that. And I'm going with some good friends, Morgan and Kiara, and try and get them on camera. You may notice that the picture's sort of tilting. I'm just going to try and sort that out. Okay. This is the problem with Blu-tack. It's sort of like not great for this job. Hold on. See, my experience of creating this is becoming part of your experience of watching it. You must be thrilled. Yeah, so I'm going to do a couple of them just about daily life in Reading. Great. As practice, and to get used to talking to the camera and putting my hand in the frame and things like that. And I'm going to show you some stuff in a bit as well, so that we get used to that. And then hopefully go away to South Africa and produce some fun stuff that people might vaguely enjoy watching. Who could say? So, what's been going on in the world lately then? There's been the vice presidential debate. I sort of caught up with it on YouTube today. I didn't watch it, but instead of listening to music, I listened to it. And the thing that struck me, and I must give credit for this as well to a guy in LiveJournal called Christopher Ambler, who's on LiveJournal. He's called Cambler. If you're a LiveJournaler, you just CAMBLER.livejournal.com. You can read his stuff. He's a fellow photographer. I started reading his journal because he takes pictures, and he was watching the debate live a couple of days ago and typing about it into LiveJournal as it was happening. And he pointed out something that I was watching for because I'd read his comments, and it was entirely true that Palin's actually pretty good when she's on script. If anybody's watched The West Wing, there's an episode in the 4th series when the senior staff and the president go away to prepare for presidential debate when he's running against Governor Rob Ritchie of Florida. It's all made up stuff. And you get this insight into the idea that they try and guess what the moderator's questions will be, and also how the opposition will answer the question, and come up with their own way of answering the question that is not coming down too hard one side of the argument or the other, but coming down on the right side politically, and yet still saying something of substance so that they're not just an empty shirt. And I'm not sure that Palin managed to come across like she had any substance, where Biden definitely did in my book. But what she did manage to do was stay on her talking points, which is what American political consultants call it, and I'm sure it's coming over here. This kind of idea that she wants to focus the minds of the people that are watching the debate on this idea that her and McCain are not like everyone else who's involved with the federal government in America, and they can be trusted to not be corrupt and to not take Americans' money in tax and spend it on shit. But everyone else will. That's the way it works. The federal government's not to be trusted. It's corrupt and dangerous, and you need to vote. If you're American, their argument is that you need to vote for John McCain as president and Sarah Palin as vice president in order to protect yourself against the corruption and the evil and the incompetence of the federal government. It's rather like saying, I'd like to be your boyfriend so that I won't cheat on you. Everyone else will, but I want to be your boyfriend so that I won't cheat on you and I will do the washing up. Honest. What kind of argument is that? You know, vote for me as president so that I can make our country better for everyone. Double plus good. Vote for me as president so that I can make sure that the people that you voted for last time aren't there anymore stealing from you. What? It's this strange notion in America that tax is bad. No, tax is good. Tax means that the lights are on in the street and someone picks up your rubbish. Of course they call it garbage. But that's good, isn't it? I don't know. I like paying tax. It means that I don't go to prison. Excellent. But it also means that, you know, when I get sick and need to use the health service, I've paid for it. Or when one of our major allies, say America, decides to persecute an illegal war in Iraq, we've already paid the bill for the army so that we can join in. Fantastic. I'm being a little facetious, but I don't get why it's a good idea. Well, I do get it. The political science of it I get. You know, there are large numbers of people in America who believe that the federal government spends too much money, is too big, gets in the way of real Americans making real decisions about their own real lives. But it's all a bit of an illusion, really. You know, all of those Americans also want to have something that picks up the slack for people who don't have health insurance because they don't like the idea of people dying in the streets of, you know, gunshot wounds and things like that. Or, you know, they want a national defence. And, yeah, they quite like going into space. NASA's a good thing, it makes them look good. I don't know. But they don't seem to equate the fact that they want these things and that those things have to be provided by the government because they're too big to be provided even on a local level efficiently. So paying tax is somehow bad. And, I don't know. Anyway, all through the debate, every time she could fit it in, she did this wonderful trick of doing the talking points and saying, you know, federal government's not been good for Main Street America. And I'm sorry about the voice. And every time I could hear myself thinking, you know, I've kind of seen through this rather basic ruse of suggesting that federal government bad, John McCain, Palin, not federal government good. You know, fairly basic sort of argument which doesn't really make any sense. But what if you're the sort of person who is in every other way a decent human being just trying to live their life, you're American, and you really do believe that tax is bad? Any tax, paid by anyone. But, you know, some of it's a reality. So voting in the guy who lets you pay less tax isn't about being mean or wanting to deprive society of the money that it needs from you. It's about stopping evil. And I just thought, wow. And I thought American politics was pretty simple. It's really not. It's pretty frighteningly weird in places, at any rate. There was other stuff that struck me about the debate. I mean, Joe Biden's a very clever man, as far as I can tell, but he's not. He's not in the East Coast elitist model. He comes from fairly humble beginnings, but he's been a successful career politician for a long time. He knows how the Senate works. His selling point is that he'll help Obama with his legislative agenda. Because even though to be president and vice president and therefore the executive branch, even though there's the separation of powers in America, the executive branch takes a legislative lead and suggests legislation and then reports on it, you know, State of the Union. He shall from time to time report upon the State of the Union, that kind of thing. Right. So the selling point for Biden is that he's, even though Obama's a senator, Biden's been a senator forever. And he understands how politics and the machinations of politics all flow in America, and he can help Obama get things done.